Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today, first of all, I've gone younger, haven't I, all of a sudden? Ha! I found the elixir of life. Red wine. But anyway, no, joking. Had a shave. Anyway, today it's ICM and the very latest kit has just arrived from them, and it is something I've been looking forward to. It's the Panzerwaffe Steel Cat, and we have a Königstiger, a King Tiger B, and a Panther D, Ausf D. So, just arrived in the country. I think I'm the first person to review this actually. Certainly one of the first in the UK. It's kit number DS3524, 35th scale of course. Beautiful artwork. On the side we have got a nice profile of the two said tanks. Late war tanks, these two versions obviously. World War II. And we've got the Ausf D there in what looks like a European scheme, and a typical Ausf B King Tiger with the Henschel turret of course there. Other side we have got a little bit of blurb which basically says the best and most renowned tanks of the Panzerwaffe, the Panther Ausf D and the Panzer Ausf B King Tiger or Königstiger. Highly detailed elements of armoured kits, chassis and weapons. Preserved geometry and proportions that correspond to real samples of tanks. Decals are for different periods of World War II, and gosh, there's quite a lot of parts. There are 418 parts for the Panther Ausf D, and there are 264 parts, quite a lot less, for the King Tiger. That's interesting. I suppose it's because the simpler hull design, perhaps, you know. Anyway, should tell you first of all, they're not actually new tool. Get this out of the way at the beginning. Not completely new tool. The Panther actually is from 2005, so it's almost 20 years old. But the King Tiger is a bit newer than that. It's only 8 years old, from 2015, 2016. So let's have a look at what we've got. Without further ado, and we shall have a little nosy at the very latest. It's another one of these clever packaging. Oops, did I just slash the box? It's one of these clever packagings from ICM where they've combined not actually new tools, but they've actually combined them into a new set, and that's always welcome, you know. What's wrong with the box? To really tightly tape this one, I've got to say, really tightly. Wow. It's so tight it's actually pulling on the box. There we go. Right, let's have a look then. Some proper Panzers, German heavy armour. Okay, there we go. Big box, and a lot of plastic in the box. A lot of plastic. Now, to tell you the start, this is retailing in the UK around about £55, which sounds about right to me for two tanks. That's not bad, is it? 35th scale. So there is our King Tiger in one bag, Panthers in the other bag. Ooh, I think there's going to be a lot of track parts to assemble. Okay, so the King Tiger, it looks very much as though that is a rubber band style, interestingly. And the older kit, the older tooling, has got separate links. A lot of them. Anyway, we'll get into that later. We'll do them one at a time. So, let's see what we have. Pop the box to one side and let us get cracking. This can take a little while because we've got quite a lot to go at here. So, now that's strange because it's actually quite a small leaflet and for the Panther and quite a big one for the King Tiger, which is not what I was expecting at all. Anyway, we'll go with the Panther first, I think. So, I'll pop this bag back. It's only one bag, so I'll just open the bag out of the way, because I know these crinkle and really do affect your ears very badly, people say. So let's just get that out of the way. There we go, so that's that noisy bag out of the way. Let's zoom you in, and you can have a look at this. Have we got any history? Any history? Well, actually, you can tell this is an older style, because there is no history, so you can tell it's 2005, this one. That's why it's probably got rather minimalist instructions as well. It just starts off with the sprue map, you know. Got our decals there. On the reverse, it's got the colour call out. So basically, I think it's going to be pretty quick, this particular one. So we have got we've got a bathtub style hull. And we're going to put our drive transmission exit the drive shafts here to go on at the front, of course. Putting on all your torsion bars, typical Panther, torsion bar suspension, and go out into the road wheels. You've got your idler sprockets here, and you've got your drive sprockets down here. So you're going to assemble those and put your road wheels all on straight away, no messing about. Exhausts being assembled here, and finally assembling all of those wheels, putting them all onto the each torsion bar, and in this case on the outer inner wheels of the first row, obviously over there, and then the outer wheels going on here. Then we've got our stowage boxes, and we've got our jack for jacking the tank up. We've got the stowage boxes then being fitted on the back. Then we have got, it looks like we've got a pivoting opening hatch for the driver, which is cool. And then we've got, I say hatch, sorry, I mean viewing port, of course, on the front, don't I? The viewing port for the driver. Then we've got the actual hatches here, going together. You've got the engine cover hatch at the back going on. Then we've got these rails for the spare pieces of track. So I'm going to have a little bit more light. That might be better. There we go. It's better, isn't it? Rails for the spare pieces of track. We've got the storage tubes that go on the side, and all the various tools, including the winch. You've got wire cutters. You've got a hatchet. You've got an axe. All the usual things. Barrel cleaning rods as well here. And you've got your top little covers and the grill covers going on the top deck over the engine there. Mudguards coming in here, and you're assembling onto the side all of your tools you've just assembled. Same on the opposite side with your hatchet and your axes, etc. And your spare track going on the side. Then you've got to assemble the tracks themselves. Oh, there's got to be a lot of these. It doesn't say how many. It doesn't say how many, because normally they say assemble, 120 or whatever. But there are a lot, I can tell you that. Then we've got going to build our turret up, complete with the gun. It's a 76mm, is it? 75mm, I think, on the Panther, isn't it? And then you've got the rear escape hatch on the back as well. Putting your gun into the mantlet and then assembling it through. And then we've got basically all the parts that go into making up the cupola hatch for the commander on the top. And then here we have got our, of course on the D version, the Ausf D, we have these side skirts, protective side skirts, which go along armour plating to protect the top of the tracks. And we've got our towing cables going on the top as well. And that's it, actually. That is literally done and dusted. Fairly straightforward kit, this one, in terms of assembly. And then we've got two schemes. We've got the Battle of Kursk, the Kursk Bulge, July 1943. Battle of Kursk. And then there's also the Grossdeutschland in August 43 division. So two divisional options, two schemes. But it'd be nice to see that in colour rather than in black and white. That's a bit disappointing, actually. But I say it is a 2005 kit, so that's why there's no history, and that's why it's a little bit basic, to be fair. So I don't think we'll be too harsh on this one. I think it's just a little bit of its time. It is 20 years old next year, so there we go. So let's have a look at what we actually got. So here we've got our decals, which actually look very nice. I would just say, though, you might be able to tell when I zoom you in, I would just say that, again, of its time, as I just said, look at these decals. There's quite a bit of carrier film, excessive carrier film. Look at the crosses. Can you see that? And they don't do that to, ICM's current products, latest products I should say, new tools, they really have nicer, much neater and sharper and tidier done without that excessive carrier film. So again, that's kind of its time. It's going to be a difficult one to rate this. I think I might have to give it a rating for the two kits rather than as one overall, because it wouldn't be fair. So here we've got our bathtub style of hull, as you can see, and in fairness the detail is very good. You see all the bolts around those mounting points for the torsion bars, and it's got like a crackle finish almost here. Back of it, I think my zoom's playing up. There we go. So that's that, and then there's the front, of course, the sloping armour, and of course this tank was really rushed forward in production, perhaps a little bit too rushed actually, to compensate for the T-34 which had come onto the battlefield in Russia, Soviet Union, and the battles before Kursk in fact, and they realised they needed a sloped armour tank. And here it is, and we have a fair bit of detail, considering it's not such a new tooling. This is really nice actually. We've got some really good sort of engraving, and the sort of areas where the hinges fit in for the actual top deck hatch covers for the engine. That's actually quite nice, and all the bolt heads and everything, that's really well done. Nothing wrong with that at all. Just a tiniest hint of flash there, just on the corner here. I don't know if you can see that really. But no, overall, I'd say that's pretty nice. I really must get this out of the background, so that's not helping us at all. Just get rid of that. There we go. I think we'll have better image. There we go. But yeah, it's an LSD. Very nice. So that's that. That's those two. Then we've got several of these. I think there's 4 sprues of the dreaded links. Zoom you right in, because actually the moulding on these looks pretty good, I've got to say. Can't really fault that. There's nothing much wrong with those. That's okay, isn't it? Just a lot of work to do. A hell of a lot of work to do there. Sure then. Then we've got our... Yeah, you can tell there is a little bit, just an odd hint of flash here and there. So as I say, you can tell this is an older tooling from ICM, it's not the latest work. And it's also on a rather sort of squidgy, soft feeling sprue, which these days the plastic they use is much harder. And again, some very minor flaws. Can you see here? That's got a little bit of sort of flash build up on it as well. But there we go. So there's your mantler and your turret ring, low turret ring. You've got the back of the WW2 there, and here you've got your cupola turret ring hatch area, and the actual hatch itself is there. You've got the gun moulded in well, 2 pieces, split down the middle. You know, they don't do it like this anymore, do they? None of the manufacturers do it like that, including ICM these days, because you end up with quite a nasty seam down the centre. It's just a full length gun that's been split in half, very old school. So yeah, a bit of an older tool, really. Then we've got, again this is a duplicate, so we'll just look at one of them. Then we've got our typical road wheels. Nothing wrong with these look quite nice, I've got to be honest, this sprue looks quite a good one. We've got some very nicely good quality moulding on this, the towing cable. That looks good. I like that, very nice. And you've got your various towing eyes, so it can be towed and transported. You've got your various wheels, including your drive sprocket wheels here, and then you got the idler wheel there. Got our exhausts and the torsion bars, and various small parts like your headlights here, front and rear of the headlight, and we've got, what else we got there? The torsion bar. Oh yeah, we've got the grate covers for engine deck here. Yes, very nice. And we've got the actual cover over the cooling fans, which is actually really nice. There's nothing wrong with that sprue actually, that's a really nice one. That's the nicest sprue of the lot so far, I think. So that's very good. So that's those two. Then there's actually only one left, and it's this one. So it's the one that's got the back of the sort of rear bulkhead of the main chassis tub, if you will, and all these smaller parts. And again, I've got to say, these look actually pretty nice. So I'm going to zoom you in here and have a look at these tools and things. You've got things like the cleaning rods, you've got wire cutters and the winch handle, more cleaning rods, I think that is, and then you've got the jack here, and you've got the tube which stores the cleaning rods in it down the side. You have got the transmission drive shafts there where it exits the hull, and of course you've got your protective armour plated side skirts that protect the actual top of the tracks, very characteristic of the D model. You've got your brace clamp for the gun barrel here, probably better seen at that angle actually, isn't it, if I can get it in. Where's it gone? There you are. So that's the gun transit clamp, you might call it, transit mount. And then we've got the stowage boxes go at the back, and we've got the engine the engine deck top hatch, the Maybach engine. Yeah, it's actually quite nice, isn't it? Again, this is quite a nice sprue. It's as though some of the sprues have been, perhaps they've been upgraded for the D version, I don't know, because well, I think it was 2005 it all came out, this kit. The Panther I'm talking about, just the Panther. But yeah, there's actually some nice parts and a lot of good detail, nice engraving, very well formed, you know, things like the wire cutters, they look very nice, very sharp. It's a nice sprue. It's not a bad kit actually, it's not a bad kit. So what I'm going to do, slightly unusually, I think we've got two separate identity tanks here, and I think I should actually rate them individually to make it fair. I think I can't let one drag the other one up or one drag the other one down, it's silly to do that. So I'm just going to, it's a set, it's like a diorama twin pack. I'm going to give that 9 out of 10. I think there's one or two areas where it looks a bit fiddly and annoying with all this track, which is kind of, you know, that's not really a minus in itself, because a lot of people do that with their armour kits, but it is, you know, kind of old school, isn't it? And then there are some areas where there's a little bit of flash here and there, and you know, the gun being in one piece or two pieces split down the middle is not ideal. It's kind of its time, like I said, really. But I think overall it's very nice. I mean, the main parts are actually really sharply done, and there's nothing wrong with the some of the very fine stuff either. A lot of that fine detail with the wheels and, you know, gun clamps, etc., etc. All very, very good. So I think 9 out of 10 is fair for this kit, actually. I don't think it's unduly generous or unduly harsh. Kind of a little bit better than I would have expected, if I'm honest, because I saw it was 2005. Sorry about the noise. Get that in there. Stop fighting me. Ah! In you go. Yeah, when I saw it was 2005, I was a bit worried. I thought, oh, this might be really not that great at all. But it's actually better than I thought it was going to be. You know, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with those detail parts, which is the very important bit. So, can we get the rest in is the question. I might leave that for another time, because I think it might be a bit of a challenge, basically. So we'll pop that on one side, I think, for now. Oh yes, it's gone in. We got there in the end. That's quite close for bag, won't worry about that now. Right, so that's the Panther. Sorry about the rattling, really noisy that one. Now, we'll look at the Tiger separately, King Tiger, and now it's much more like they do traditionally of late, with a proper historical write-up, which reads as follows. The most heavy and powerful tank of World War II was the German Ausf Mark VI King or Königstiger, which was developed by the Henschel Company under the leader of E. Adders. Its serial production was launched, in February 1944. It's a bit early now. I thought it was only like April, May. But anyway, the tank had a heavy armour and long-barrelled 88mm cannon. Its armour-piercing projectile was capable of hitting any Allied tank at a distance of up to 2,000 metres and more. That's a mile, isn't it? However, the tank possessed insufficient mobility and reliability of the power plant and the transmission. Now, this twin clutch transmission and this Maybach engine, I think it was, that wasn't very reliable. The tank received army nicknames Tiger II or Königstiger, King Tiger. Since July 44 the Henschel turrets were installed, and since October 44 the applying of Zimmerit coating was stopped. Yeah, they realised they didn't need it and they didn't have the resources. The tanks, high-speed tanks, until the end of the war served in heavy tank battalions. The total of these King Tigers produced was 479, quite a few, between 1944 and 1945. Well, there we go. And it says combat weight in tons, 68 tons. Oh, God, because it's 56 tons I think for a standard Tiger, isn't it? So it's 12 tons heavier. Basically a 25% weight increase. Crew 5, length 10.2 metres, width 3.75 metres, height 3 metres. Maximum speed 41 kilometres an hour, about 28 mile an hour, something like that. And a range in kilometres of 150 kilometres. And it's got the Pak 88. It's got 2 machine guns, the 7.92mm MG34s. Very good, good write-up actually. That's just all we need to know, really, isn't it? Right, so come back in a second. Well, let's have a look at it now. Let's have a look at it now. What was I just saying about slight improvement in the later day cars? You can see it already. It's not quite as over the top with its excessive carrier film halo. You can probably see. Still not quite as good as the very latest, because don't forget this is 8 years old, so it's not the very latest product. But it looks okay. Right, so without further ado, let's get into this. Whoops. So we have got our spray mat, and it looks like a real beast this does. Well, it will be, won't it? It's going to dwarf that Panther, isn't it? Okay, so we've got what looks like rubber band tracks, I think, for this one. Or it might be Lincoln length, maybe as well. No, it can't be. In fact, let's take it out of the bag. Bear with me a second. Let us just get this noisy bag out of the way quickly. I'm just making a mental note as well, looking at this, showing the camera how it's packed. So it's got the hull and the thingy at the top of the chassis and the hull at the top. If it's going to be a real jacket box model where you won't want to go back in again. Okay, there we go. Right, so, by the way, we've got some chilly weather in the UK. It's really changed. We've got this Nordic air is coming down from Scandinavia. So we've got a northerly wind, obviously. And it's really dropped the temperatures. It's dropped about 9-10 degrees. Incredible. I'm glad I've got my jacket on today. I need to keep warm. Right. Oh, okay, those tracks look interesting. Right, let's get into the instructions. So, zoom you in. I won't go too far though this time. So, should do it. So basically you start building the gun on this one. So you're building your 88mm KWK 43 gun. Pak 43 they call it. Building your breech first of all. Just try and just give you a bit more zip. There we go. Building up your breech. Then we're going to install that obviously into the main turret itself, complete with its Henschel flat mantlet. I was always surprised they didn't shape that more, you know, like the Porsche turret was. It seems to be very flat mounted, a bit like a Tiger 1 really. Can't be the best for deflection, but I guess it had very thick armour. Anyway, we're putting our shock absorbers in here for the actual recoil on the breech of the gun, on the mounting pivots here. Assembling that into our actual sort of floor of the turret itself, and then bring that floor in onto the roof of the actual turret. And then, oh minute, okay, it looks like they've gone for this. I'm not sure I like this. They've gone for the same design of having just a split two-piece gun, basically. Not my favourite way of doing it, because you end up with a seam all the way down it, yeah? Nowadays you tend to see these moulded in one piece, generally speaking. Or in sections where they join, you know, in perhaps 2 or 3 sections, but we'll see what it's like. Then we've got our hatches going on for the gunner stroke. Yeah, the gunner basically, and then the captain's commander's hatch going in here with the cupola. Obviously the gun is attached there straight in, which looks very simple. Then you've got your escape hatch at the back, and you've got the final little opening hatch that opens and rotates for the commander on the top. All that assembly coming in, plus all your little hangers and your various there's the vent, isn't there, for the air vent at the top there, hatch going on as well. Excuse me. Putting in our spare track links around the top of the turret, complete with the hangers, and then you do the same on the opposite side, on the port side. And then we're going to build up our chassis, and it looks like it's not a bathtub style this time, it's going to be built up. And we've actually got the torsion bars running through for the actual suspension, running through the actual bottom, quite detailed, through the bottom of the hull here. So you're going to attach that to the side plate, and then you actually build up your hull bottom itself, bringing in the two side plates and attaching all the torsion bars across. That's quite an interesting way of doing it. It's a bit different. And there's even like to make sure that they're positioned correctly, there's even like a guide that sort of slides on and keeps them in the right position on both sides. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. And then the back we have a separate engine compartment. Separate engine compartment goes on that divides the engine compartment from the rest of the bottom of the chassis. And then it looks like we're going to have some sort of a floor coming in here. So we've got, yeah, there's a floor going to go in to cover all the torsion bar rods. And yeah, is it a full floor? I'm just a bit puzzled by the way they've done this now, because it's a little bit different to other people's. Not exactly. It doesn't seem like they've got a full floor. Just a part floor. That's very odd. It's just so that you can see the rods at the bottom. I find that slightly strange. Anyway, then you're going to put on a couple of the fixtures on the top. The clamps for the engine hatch cover, machine gun cupola, as it were, on the front of the main sort of armour plate, sloping armour plate. Then we've got our torsion rods, torsion suspension arms going in down each side, like so. Then we've got our road wheels, drive wheels and idler sprockets going on here, on both sides. And then we're going to put in our rear mudguards just here. It's not a very good angle for showing them, I've got to say. That's a very bad angle to show them that, because it's not clear what they are actually, but it's the mudguards. Anyway, then you put it on your final road wheels. Obviously they have to be interleaved, and you have to put one row on, then the second row like you did on the other side. And that's going to repeat over here. And then finally the wheel locking nuts go on the outside. You're going to build your exhaust here and your jack there. Exhaust and jack all ultimately going on the back, of course, being mounted, complete with the armour protection for the exhausts as well, armour covers. Then you've got some more of these little latches, and some of these are like stowage latch clips, and some of them are going to be for mounting your tools. And there's quite a few of these little small parts to go on there. Then you've got these little deck hatches going on, and the extraction hatch. You've got a hatch going on, like a complete hatch section, the way they've done it, in one big section for the driver and the machine gunner. And then you've got your main engine hatch going on there as well. And you've got your little viewing port covers going down in front of the driver and the machine gunner. You've got some of your tools now coming in and going onto the top deck at the back, hatchet, axe, etc. Then you've got your towing cable and your spade on the side. You've got your machine gun barrel going in there and the main headlight going on. And then, interestingly, we've got this we've got these rubber bands, but they're kind of rubber band style, but they're actually in sections, they're not in one piece. So I think it's probably better. And then you just, I think it's 2 per side, basically. So you just glue together a bit of super glue, I guess. That's the way it's going to be done. And then ultimately you're kind of done, and you just bring on your main King Tiger turret onto the main Holzman chassis, and then we have our completed King Tiger 2016 vintage. And then finally we've got this, bring it a bit closer. We've got this, the winter camo here, and it says here, using Hungarian camo. And then also in Danzig in March, I spelled it wrong, but Marth it says, March 1945. So this is right at the end of the war. And then you've got the Ardennes, the Battle of the Bulge, December 1944, classic camo. In fact, there's 2 versions. There's one that's got the little spots on it and one that hasn't. So you've got 2 options. That's kind of like the one. That's kind of similar to my own Tamiya one that I've got in the cabinet, isn't it? And this is more the traditional Ardennes camo, because it's got like these almost like snow spots on it over the top. It looks very nice. So that's actually quite good instructions. It looks fairly straightforward. Interesting to see what these tracks. Sorry, just zoom you back. Interesting to see what these tracks are going to be like, because they look quite different in their concept. So we shall have a good butchers of that in a second. I'll put that out of the way. Not to crinkle anything too much. Oh, he says, and then he gets to look at the tracks first. I've already seen the decals on these, so they can go away. Okay. Interesting stuff. Let's have a look at these tracks then. So let's, oh yes, I like them. They look good. Let's zoom you in for this. I always get worried when I see sort of rubber tracks, because few people do it well. But we did see some nice ones on that leopard, I think it was, wasn't it? A month or 2 ago. So, what we actually have then, we've got this insert section here, where you actually overlap it like so, and then you basically glue in, show how well that's going to go. Yeah, I've got to be honest, that's not impressing me, because, I'll tell you why, the holes, the female side here, don't seem big enough for the plugs that have got to go in them. They really don't. That's not a good fit. That's not clicking in at all. It's not keen to go in, if I'm honest. Got it in? Got it? No. That's going to take quite a bit of manipulation to get those. Yeah, those holes going to have to be opened up a bit. They're definitely, the plug looks physically 10 to 20% bigger than the actual hole it's got to go in. And that's going to be a lot of faffing around, I think. Is it aligned correctly? Just, they're going in a very specific way. Okay, that's going in now. Perhaps it just needs a bit more force than I've been giving it. This is important, because it's going to give you an idea what sort of a struggle or otherwise you're likely to have with this. That's tricky. It might have got in now. Yeah, I think we got it now. It's gone in now. But it's not going to hold. There's nothing there that's going to make that want to hold together. You've got to glue it. I'm a bit disappointed with that. They look nice. If you look at the actual tread of the tracks and the detail of it, I'll see you back. There's nothing wrong with the sort of appearance of it. They look really nice, actually. Yes, those are nice. Very, very good. But the fitting together of them is hideous. And that is not a good solution. Not a good solution at all. And we've seen on that, you know, those other ones like the Leopard, which was a reboxing of the Revell. It was far better. It's going in there. I don't know if you can see it. It's going in there, the first row. It's the second row here. I mean, it will stick. I don't want to make too much of this. It will stick. If you get some super glue on that, it'll soon bond and it'll be sorted, I guess. But it's not going to easily, you know, you're going to have to apply pressure and get a clamp or a little a peg, you know, spring peg on it to hold it. It's not Tamiya, this. It's not going to go together as well as you might hope. Not quite the best. It's not the best design I've seen. I would say to ICM, that's not a design to adopt for the future, because I'm not sure it's the best way of doing tracks at all, really. Yeah, they look good. I think they probably will look good when they're actually assembled as well. But prior to that, I think it's going to be a little bit fiddly and a little bit of a pain with possible glue getting everywhere. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So I say this is a 2016 vintage kit, this one. So let's have a look at the Henschel turret. And yes, now there's nothing wrong with this. That's very nice, actually. Yes, that's very nice. It's even got the moulded in weld lines. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Again, we've got this slightly sort of soft rubbery feeling plastic compared to what they do today. I have to say today's plastic I think is much nicer. Then we have got our, and there's a couple of these, I think there may be 4 of these, this sprue. This is the one that's got all the wheels on it, the drive wheels and the sprockets. You've got your exhaust, it's got a nice split on the exhaust on the pipe there, that's nicely done actually. There, can you see that? Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? And then you've got all these torsion bars, part of the suspension there. We have got all our wheel nuts here, barrel cleaning rods, spare tracks. Pity they didn't do it in the traditional way actually. I think it might have looked better. Yeah, it's there's nothing wrong with any of that I can see. You've got a nice drive sprocket there. That was pretty cool. And is it just a little bit softly moulded though? I don't know if you can pick this up on the camera. A bit softly moulded on the bolts on the road wheels there, I'd say, compared to others that we've seen from, you know, Tacom and Meng and Border and indeed Tamiya. Bit soft on the moulding. So there's 4 of those, so let me get rid of that because that's just a repetitive big bag of the same stuff. Then we've got the parts of the side of the chassis that you're going to build up for the bottom of the hull. You've got an internal, and then this is the external side. And then say the internal, you get all this detail. It's gone to a lot of detail, a lot of trouble to put these torsion bars across, these torsion drive rods. Not sure really whether that's added to the kit or not, to be honest. Then you've got your KWK Pack 43 88mm gun, and yeah, we've got the over here we've got the barrel cleaning rod, we've got the headlight, and at the bottom of the turret, obviously, yeah, and then a couple of the hatches there. That one, and then we have got the bottom of the actual chassis, at the bottom of the hull I should say itself, which is quite detailed. Again, a bit soft though, a bit soft in the moulding. It's not like we get from ICM now, which is super sharp. You know. A bit soft looking, don't you think? I do. It's very soft actually. The detail is there, but it's not overly crisp like we've come to expect from them or others recently. Even on the back, again, a bit soft looking. But all the detail is here. I think we've got to remember this kit, we're getting 2 kits for £55 or less. So it's only £26 a kit. It's not bad, is it? You're getting quite a lot of value in it. Then over here we've got the back of the rest of the chassis, I should say. Yeah, I can't actually put them in together because there's that big lump of sprue in the way. But here's the main top of the hull then for the King Tiger. Is that right? Is that angle right on that hull? That looks a bit too steep to me. I've seen the real King Tiger. I've been to the one that's at La Gliese in the Ardennes, and I'm not sure about the angle on this. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, but that looks too steep to me. I don't think it's angled enough. I think it's actually more Panther-like in reality. even against the artwork, it looks very steeply angled. I think that's too steep, I'm not sure it's right. Anyway, plenty of detail at the side. We've got all the bolts you can see. Again though, a little bit soft, isn't it? A bit soft. Nice on the rear deck though, that's all done very nicely, very fine. There's no flash or anything. That's all, he says, it's a bit of flash. There's just a tiny hint of it just wants to come off there on one of the grills. Can you just see it? It's just visible there through the grill. But it's only just one little piece. The rest is pretty much clear. Very nice, actually. So that's where the slightly unreliable Maybach engine and this twin clutch gearbox, which gave it a lot of problems, that goes in there. And then that just leaves us with everything else. So we've got the gun in this great big single piece, which I'm not sure I like really from a modeller's point of view. Yeah, and it's in two halves. Obviously, there's the other half. So you're going to end up with a seam join line down the length of it, which I don't like. That's not the way for manufacturing them today, I don't think, is it? But we've got nice detail there on the hatches and things, and we've got the little jack. They've done that really well. That's very nicely detailed. We've got our front mantlet here and the cupola for the commander. We've got some very nicely done towing cable. That's lovely in detail, isn't it? That's really good. And we've got the recoil suppression shockers there. What else have we got? We've got all the little hatches and the little grab handles. Here's this rather strange locking sort of locking guide, which is for those torsion rods that run through the chassis at the bottom. We've got some quite nice flooring here, which is where, you know, the for the floor area. Would it not be covered though? I'm straining my memory. I thought that when we had the full interior on things like the TACOM, it was fully covered on the floor, not just having exposed torsion rods. I don't buy that. I don't think that's accurate. But anyway, perhaps it's just, I don't know. I don't know why they've gone for. It's almost like a half interior they've gone for, but there's no floor and there's no driver's seat or anything like that. They haven't gone for a full interior. I find that a little bit strange. And then we've got our tools and things, which are lovely. They're very accurately sort of moulded. You've got the armour plate here for your exhausts. Yeah, it's all quite nice, to be honest. I think it's very nice. Again, just a little bit softly moulded, but they seem to have not. They've got some parts really done very well. Look again at the cabling, the towing cables. Those are nicely. They're not particularly softly moulded. So I don't know why I saw that some of the parts look very soft and some don't. Seems a bit odd to me. We have got on the little glasses bulge there for the machine gunner. If you look closely, we've got a little bit of flash on there, just at the opening on the aperture. Yeah, just in there. Yeah, just in there. Interesting. So what do we think then? Well, I think there's a lot of plastic here. I've got some reservations. I think I'll come straight out with it. I think it's a 9 out of 10 for this one as well, actually. Whilst they've gone for this different track, it certainly isn't better. So one's got horrible pain in the backside, millions of individual links, and the other one's got rather a nasty, not a nice way of doing this. This rubber band. It's the way they go together. It's not well executed. That the moulding's good. It's the execution of the interaction of the functionality of them connecting together. Not good. Not good. Sorry, rattling that very noisy bag. So what do we think then? I'm not going to put it all away because it will take ages and I probably won't manage it. So let's just wrap it up. Metaphorically speaking, what do we think? Well, I think they're both. It is in the end. It ended up 9 out of 10 anyway. So it's a 9 out of 10 for the whole set, really. I think the value is good. You get a lot of quite a lot of tank for your money, but I'm not sure it's for me. Not sure it's for me. I think that the Panther's shown its age definitely, and I think that the King Tiger would be okay if they had not gone for this. If they'd gone for sort of like Tamiya did, link and length, where you get links around the extreme corners of the drive and the idler sprockets, and then the rest is a length of mould and track. I think that works the best, really. This is kind of the worst of all worlds, so I'm not too taken with that. Also, this soft moulding, it seems more so than on the Panther. There's quite a lot of soft moulding there. Some areas are really sharp and excellent, and other areas look a bit underwhelming. So it's not really, you know, Meng tack on, or even Tamiya standard, really, I'd say. So I think this is the only problem with kits where they are bringing together a couple of older kits. I think that's what you're going to get. And we did see that with the, is it the Mistel that they did? Or with the BF109, which did look very old, you know. It's not as bad as that, in fairness. It's a nice kit, and it's good value. You get a lot in the box for the money. And I think you'll pick this up for under £50 pretty soon, in the UK anyway. So I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. So I say, well done ICM, I like the way you brought it together, but they're just a bit old, you know, they're old school kits from a slightly earlier era. And I don't want to knock ICM, not when you see what they're producing today. The latest toolings they're doing are as good as anybody's. And this is just older kits. So I think you've got to, it's horses for courses, you know. I'm sure that by Christmas this will be retailing in the £40 bracket, £40 to £50. And at that price it's a bargain. So think of it like that and make a nice gift for somebody, you know. If you want to, you know, a couple of, you're not bothered about the interior, you just want a couple of nice Ardennes for Christmas again, the Ardennes Battle of the Bulge anniversary. Because of course it's 80 years of the Battle of the Bulge in December, so very appropriate timing. So yeah, if you want to get it at a decent price, you get 2, you know, Battle of the Bulge era tanks for quite a sensible price. Anyway, that's where I'm at, 9 out of 10. Well done ICM, and thank you for providing the kit. I hope nobody's upset that I didn't love it quite as much as the latest stuff, but it's inevitable. As I say, you know, the recent brand new tools that ICM brought out have been phenomenal this year, so it's what you'd expect. I think that's the best way of putting it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review, found it interesting. Please be aware that there will be more coming up soon. I've got another 1 or 2 from ICM coming, and I hope you'll tune in for those as well. So in the meantime, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to give us a like, give us a thumbs up, ding the notification bell, make sure you ding the all option, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned because there'll be more coming soon. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching. Look after yourselves, stay well, stay safe. Until next time, thanks a lot. Bye for now.